But I believe that by overwhelming majority, you and I, in the long run, and if it be necessary, you and I will act together to protect, to defend, by every means at our command.
So, let's jump right in. Is the Vatican named after the Etruscan goddess of the underworld, Vatica? So, let's have a look, guys. The simple answer is no. Not to shock anyone there, but that's the simple answer. But it's not a simple answer as saying no. There is not enough information on the Etruscans overall. But what we do know is, and have the information that we have, says the answer is no. So, you know what I mean? I've been kind, I'm not just stated no. Let's look at the list of underworld gods. So the first one we'll look at is Aita or Aita. It's also spelled Aita with an E, and in Etruscan inscriptions is the name of the Etruscan equivalent to the Greek god Hades, the god of the underworld. So no Vatica there. Next one is Kalu, the god of the underworld who does not appear in any art. In his place, Aita is depicted. So, you know what I mean, it's not as easy as that. But again, no Vatica. Now, there's a god called Cathar. Is a female - male Etruscan lunar or solar deity who may also be connected to childbirth and has a connection to the underworld also. And what's intriguing about this is the name Cathar appears on the Piacenza liver, the Etruscan artifact that was found in a field on September the 26th, 1877 near Cossalengo. And it's intriguing, just look at it, it's weird, isn't it? Really intriguing me, this. Now, it's thought to represent their view of the earth, the sun, the moon and 16 heavenly bodies. So it's intriguing right there, isn't it, guys? And each of the areas then corresponds to its relevant, basically, god. It was likely used as a kind of celestial map and key to interpreting events that happened in each of the zones, a source of how-to for would-be soothsayers. Now you've got to ask yourself, tell me that's not a wow. But again, no Vatica. So to the Etruscans, this is the shape of the realm that they live in. In Etruscan mythology, Shauron, or Karu, or Karen, no digs at any Karen who watch, basically like the Greek equivalent, you know, the ferryman, acted as one of the psychopompo of the underworld, basically like spirits, demons. Now, it's not to be confused with the god of the underworld, known to the Etruscans as Aeta, or Aeta, as I was just mentioned. So there's another name, like Shauron, like Chiron. Now, a demon of death, similar to Chiron, the ferryman of the Greek underworld that we were just stating, but portrayed instead carrying a hammer and guarding the underworld's gates. He is fearful figure and sometimes has pointed animal ears, an eagle's beak, green skin, wings, and whole snakes, if you can find some image. And here's just another image of him holding a hammer, and you can see the ears and the nose. So it's intriguing, isn't it? Now, he's often portrayed with Vamp, a winged figure also associated with the underworld. Now, this is the one that people are getting mistook with Vatica. It's the same image. Now, a female demon associated with death and the underworld. She sometimes has wings, whole snakes, or as a guide in the underworld, she carries a torch. Here's an image some of you might recognise from similar one that I used on my YouTube, and I blacked out. It's very, very similar. The one I used was just on an angle. And that's what you'd have seen people about saying Vatica. So that torch that she holds lights the dark paths of the underworld. Now, quite a few Etruscan goddesses were intermittently shown with wings, but with Vamp, they seem to be an integral part of her character. And here's just some more images of Vamp, as you can see, with the wings and the torch on sarcophagus and a statue. So when you see images of Vatica and it has that image with the, you know, the headrest, it's basically Vamp. And again, no Vatica. The Etruscan goddess Culsu, whose name basically shares the same etymology or etymological root as Culsans, is also associated with gateways, though in her case they are gateways of the underworld or the netherworld. Now, not many, if no, depictions of Culsu can be found, and here's why, and I'm going to explain. But many believe Culsu and Culsans, who we've just mentioned, are one in the same. They are the female and male aspects of a certain somebody. Now, here is images of Culsans. Now, does it look familiar to anyone who follows my channel? Yes, you'd be right. Now, let's zoom in. And his hand, he's gestured, his hand's making, he's pointing with one hand and he's making, you know, a symbol or symbology, a hand symbolism with another. Oh, yes. It's 11. Just a pure coincidence there, guys. And here's another image of Culsans. Now, so another Janus aspect associated with doors and the underworld, and obviously don't forget Janus. Remember, he looks to the past and the future, so Janus prophesizes. Now, so please keep this in your thoughts for later on. There will be a aha moment. And again, still no Vatica. So, in Etruscan mythology, Persephone, or Nay, later Persephone, get there in the end, was the queen of the underworld, and the equivalent to the Greek Personife, my pronunciation is dreadful, but I struggle with English. And the Roman Proserpine, right? So Persephone was the consort of the divine ruler of the underworld, who we've already talked about, Aita or Aita. So no, Vatica. She is the goddess of the underworld, being his wife or consort. So we're going to finish off because there was a load of little connections. Terms is the herald of the gods and equivalent to Hermes or Mercury. He acted as an intermediary between the upper world and the underworld. That's why I've just put him in to finish off with. Between humans and the gods, and between the gods themselves. There was a few other gods, like I was saying, associated or connected a tad, which means a little, with the underworld. But no god called Vatica, or Vatica with a K, in the Etruscan pantheon is connected to the Vatican or the underworld. I found only 1 or 2 websites stating Vatica as a god of the underworld, or even a god. So this is the main image that you will see for Vatica, which, as you know, is Vamp. And when you research, you will find statements like this: the Etruscan Goddess Vatica, or Vatica with a C, or Vaticanus, is the archaic Etruscan name of the goddess associated with birth and the underworld. But in Etruscan religion and myth, Thalna was a divine figure, usually regarded as goddess of childbirth. Or there's another one called Athausa, who is also the Etruscan goddess of childbirth and midwifery or midwifery. So, as you can remember, Aita is a god of the underworld, and his wife, or the consort, Persephone, was the queen. So, as you can see from me showing you, there's no Vatica. Now, so my own opinion on this is it's not the root name of the Vatican, in a sense of she was the goddess of the underworld. That's what they're saying. That's why, you know, it's gone viral. I personally would love for it to be true, but at the minute there is too many question marks, you know, against it. So it could be a manipulation, or it could just be an opinion which has gone viral. You know, when we do stuff and it takes off, it could just be that. But as you can see from the information, and if you research, Vatica is not the goddess of the underworld. It is, as you can see, that one I can't pronounce, Persephone, the Etruscan version. She's a consort and wife of Aita or Atta. So it is just one of those things. So I just wanted to clear that up, and I'm going to just show you the etymology of the Vatican now coming up. So guys, what I always say to people, just to double check anything, is always do a reverse image search. It does help, and it helps you to come to a conclusion. Sometimes it doesn't give you any answers, but you can generally find, you know, some answers in it. So everyone is using this image as Vatica. I've put it into tin eye, and what's funny is tin is the god in Etruscan the pantheon. So it's funny they're named after that. So let's just go down, and I've already looked through it to see if they work, because some of these are all connections, and I'll just show you. So if you click on the top one, you will see that is the image. Let me just get rid of all this off, and as you can see, there is the image. And what it says at the top, it's in Berlin, Germany, and it's Etruscan roof terracotta antefix, which just goes over the edges, you know, tiles and things, of Juno Sospita. Sorry, is it not Vatican that people are passing it off as? No. And this is not me having a dig at them, I'm just showing you what is happening in the truth community. So this image is being used as Vatica, yeah, and you could always say, oh well, that's them changing it. And if you want to go down that road, that's totally up to you, because, you know, it's all about opinions. I'm just showing you what I've found, and, you know, you can take it on board if you want. So I'll click on the next one, and again, Etruscan roof terracotta antefix with a depiction of the goddess Juno Sospita, Clare, Latium, which is Rome area, 500 to 400 BC. that is what people's using as Vatica. And just to show you, there's another one underneath. These don't work. The links have cancelled. So it's just like, for instance, when you look at anything, the links are cancelled. Is it because they're trying to manipulate the truth? You know what I mean? And things have shut down. So what I can do is, we'll try another one just while we're here, and you can just see I'm clicking on them as we're doing it. Upload picture, show matching images. There you go, and you can just say Suspita, Suspita, and these are the images that's getting passed around that I was talking about. Right guys, so I just wanted to click on this because I just saw this paper artistic version of Suspita. So I've just clicked on it, and it's just a paper museum of interesting, intriguing things. And if you scroll down, you come to this image. Well, this is what we are showing, and this must be in the Casino del Pozzo Paper Museum, Etruscan Antifix, which if you Google Antifix just means, and I'll do this while I'm on the fly, an antifix is a vertical block which terminates and conceals the covering tiles of a tiled roof. It also serves to protect the join from the elements. In grand buildings, the face of each stone antifix, which was richly carved, often with the Amonthian ornament, or basically the edge of tiles. And as you can see, this is a Etruscan antifix representing Sospita, and that's the face on profile and the side on profile at the bottom again. And this was done in 1621, and it's attributed to Vincenzo Leonardi. Again guys, this is just showing you again what has been used as Vatica. It isn't Vatica. So this is not me having a go, this is just me pointing on the fact that I've looked into it and it ain't Vatica. So there you go guys, just wanted to help out and show my opinion. Again, in the end of the day, this is just my opinion, so opinions are like arseholes, we all have one. So Vatican is derived from the name of an Etruscan settlement, Vatica, or Vaticum, located in the general area the Romans called Ager or Asia Vaticanus, Vatican territory. So we're going to briefly go into this, just because I just want to, show a few things. I came across this, I don't know where I got it from. When you click through screens and subset headings, I came to this. So whoever it is, thank you for doing the legwork. And it talks about the etymology of Vaticanus. There are several hypotheses according to Barthold George Niebuhr. The toponym perhaps refers to an archaic Etruscan settlement called Vaticum. Varro derives the name from a childbirth deity named Vaticanus or Vacicanus, the god of the Vaci wailings. But we've not seen much of this, since var was supposed to be the first syllable pronounced by a child. Aulus Gellius, on his part, derives the name from Vaticanum, a prophecy elicited by the flight of birds, are from the study of the liver of victims of sacrifices, and inspired by the god who controlled the area. The saints of the Vaticini, the Orospicini or Etruscan Discipline, have been introduced in Rome by the Etruscans. But what caught my eye is, when you look into other etymologies, is the prophecy bit. That's the intriguing bit. So that is just what a few people talk about, several hypotheses. So really no one really knows. That's the intriguing thing, and that's just where all this opinion comes to the forefront. So no one's really wrong or right. And as you know, the Italian name of the city is Città del Vaticano, or more formally Stato della Città or Città del Vaticano, meaning Vatican City state. According to the curator of the Vatican, the etymology is from Latin Vaticanus, meaning Vatican Hill. As I've said, one of Rome's 7 hills, ultimately from Latin fascinare, to prophesize, to prophecy, the prophecy. So the Vatican means prophecy, or to prophesize, or to foretell. Now, how ironic its name means that. And as you know, the church has waged war over the centuries on witches or anyone practicing divination. It's crazy, isn't it? And it also means Vatican wine. So I forgot that I had an old Latin app. So here's some things from that. So you can see Vaticini, Vaticanus, prophetic, Vatic, revealing the future by divine inspiration. The Vatican. And I broke it down, and Vat means dogger or doja, but also means vat or a vessel. A vessel. And you can see Vati comes from fatum, utterance, oracle, fate, destiny, natural term of life, also doom, death and calamity. This is part of Vat when I break it down that way for you. Or Vata, as you can see, means to speak, means to talk, and means to say. So there's some wows in this. And also it comes from Vatis, a foreteller, a seer, a soothsayer, a prophet. So all these intriguing etymologies and names of the Vatican doesn't mean Vatica, but it means something even more wow to me. And as you can see, Vatis, Vate, prophet, seer, mouthpiece of deity, that's a wow. Oracle, soothsayer, poet, divinely inspired. So come on guys, you must be going like wow from this, because of what the Vatican is and how it's built. I want to get into that also. So I'll split it up, and obviously Vatican. Can means wicker basket, used for food, flowers, or in sacrifices. Comes from Cana. Wow. And the other part of that means white, grey, aged, old, wise, hooray, foamy, white capped, white, and with snow and frost. So you can see the etymology of Vatican broken down in two basically says the same, but reveals a lot more. So I was talking before about the name the Vatican connected to wine also. It reminded me of this that I've included in a few videos. You can see Noah, Italy and the Sea Peoples, and I'll briefly read it out. The bit that matters is it says originally published in 1549. Pier Francesco Giambale makes an astonishing claim that the language of Dante takes its origin from Hebrew, brought to Italy by Noah, the inventor of wine, who is known as Janus, and he settled and died there. So that name that we're all familiar with is connected to wine, and the wine is not just about prophesizing, it was also about wine. Intriguing, and that's just the beginning. So now St. Peter's Basilica. After his crucifixion, Peter's remains were buried nearby, and a memorial was erected over them by the year 200. That's what they say. Once the ambitious Christian emperor Constantine rose to power in the 4th century, he built a basilica over St. Peter's tomb, thereby solidifying the memory of Peter's martyrdom on the Vatican Hill. But look at this, guys, and I'll read this out for you. I found it in a book, I can't remember where. The apostles of Jesus, I believe, were most of them fishermen. There are many stories of the miraculous draughts of fish and other matters connecting with fishes in the gospel histories, and Peter, the son of John, Ioannes, or Oans, we know which is Janus, the great fisherman, inherited the power of the ruling the church from the Lamb of God. The fisherman succeeded the shepherd. The Pope calls himself the great fisherman, hence why all the Noah links and maritime law, because Janus is the first shipbuilder, and the boast of the content of the poitrine. Although it cannot be shown exactly how it was affected, yet I think no person who considers all the circumstances can doubt that there was anciently some connection between the Roman god Janus and Saint Peter. That one is a prototype of the other. Jesus is called the Prince of Peace, the same as Janus. And in the religion of the God of Peace, Peter was the chief of his apostles. The successor of Janus, he held the keys of heaven. There can, I think, be no doubt that out of some tradition not understood by us now concerning Janus, Peter has been made the chief of the 12 apostles, endowed with the keys and made keeper of the gates of heaven. In this case, the process of which by the effect was produced is lost, but the effect itself cannot be doubted, and surely in all this a parable of figurative meaning must be allowed. Now this is underneath the star. Many years ago, a statue of the god Janus in bronze being found in Rome. He was perched up in St. Peter's with the keys in his hands. The very identical god, not the bronze merely melted and recast, but the identical god himself, in all his native ugliness, as he is proved by his duplicate in stone, which I found in the vault below. Telling you, Peter is Janus. I've been telling you, Peter, Pater means father. Father, the Pope is called father. Janus is called Janus Pater, Janus father. It's all there, guys. So guys, I want to carry on with this a little bit in regard to St. Peter's Basilica, and you'll see why. Now, one of the many images of St. Peter's, because it's had various states of function, it's looked different over the years because it's had facelift after facelift. Now this is one of them, and I'm just showing you in particular because there's something in the courtyard. Now I don't have to zoom in because I've got an image for you here now. So right, here we go. What is it? Yes, you got it. It's the pine cone. Now what is a pine cone, and especially the one in the Vatican, referred to as being? It's tied to the pineal gland. Now, some people want to call it the third eye, and I'll just move across now and I'll show you what it is now. The peacocks are still there, but it's not covered, and it was moved to this location. So it's referred to as the pineal gland. Everyone can agree it's on the staff, the croziers of popes, etc., and it's linked to the pineal gland. Everyone can agree on that. I'm not saying anything untoward. And what gets me so is the pineal gland, or the third eye, is connected or associated with intuition, insight and mysticism. So in a way it's tied to foretelling, prophecy, opening up doors, portals, hence why it's all connected. So when I showed you this many years ago in old videos, it made me go wow, and it still does today because it's in your face, but people don't talk about it. In occultism, the pineal gland is regarded as a link between the objective and the subjective states of consciousness, or in exoteric terminology, the visible and the invisible worlds of nature. In the religions of the Latins, it was therefore referred to as Janus, the two-faced god and keeper of the gates of sanctuary. This divinity was the antitype, meaning before, of St. Peter, who succeeded him as the warder of the heavenly portals and who carries the two keys of office, one to the golden mystery of the spirit and the other to the silver mystery of the body. So we have all these connections to Vatican being called prophecy, to prophesize. A major aspect of the divination is the pineal gland, and the Vatican has one right at the centre, and it was in St. Peter's Basilica. Now it's moved to the current location. I know it's not just far, but you know what I mean, from the old way, and it's tied to what I've just said. But the pineal gland's occult name is Janus, who is St. Peter, Pater, father. Guys, you can just see why I've had to include this, because it's just painting the picture of what the Vatican truly is. Remember, the Vatican, one aspect was mouthpiece of a deity. It's Janus, the first pope, the first king. It's all king of Latium. Right, so another word to prophesize in Latin is this:
vaticinate.
Vaticinate. And as you can see, it means to prophesize, to foretell, to be a prophet. What we've been talking about. But for you guys out there, and there's a certain word we're not allowed to mention on YouTube, is if you take a couple of letters out and put another letter in, a C, what does it say? Now you guys can scream and type in as much as you want, but
vaticinate. Vaticinate.
So you can see my point. Can you see?
Vaticinate.
You've only got to take a couple of letters out, and it's a certain word from a certain pandemic that was done, and this is a result of. And it just seems funny that just a couple of letters. I know it is. Some people might say, "Oh, that's a stretch." Anyone would see this word.
Vaticinate.
I would say the same thing. As soon as you see it, it reminds you of that certain word, which, if you mentioned, you get videos taken down. And I just thought I had to include it to show you. To prophecy, to foretell, basically the words I've been mentioning, what the Vatican is named after. To foretell, prophecy. You can just see as we're going down Latin, Vaticanus or Vaticinatus, best possible, or vaticinari, to prophesy, vati, vertes, or verts, as we've mentioned already. I showed you that from my app I have on it. To prophecy. How crazy is that? So, near enough, the spelling of certain place is what something was used in the result of the pandemic. I just thought, you know what, I have to show you that because some of you will be thinking that at home, if you've done your research. So I'm going to finish off with more Peter Janus connections. So Saint Peter's traditional partner in his carrozza is invariably a cock. Whether carved or stuffed, the cock is there to remind us of how Peter denied Christ 3 times even before the sun rose on that fateful day of Christ's death. It's not like Janus ever gets pictured or isn't associated with a cock, is it? Oh no. Crazy, guys, I've showed you this countless times and people seem to forget. Not you flockers, but everyone else. So a cock crows in the morning. We can all accept that and we've all heard it. Yep, again, I'm not saying anything that's whoa. So it must be a coincidence that Janus, Peter, Pater, Petar, is known as Matutinus Pater, the god, the father of the beginning of the day. I mean, it's not like they're showing you the 11 sign, is it? The symbol with the 2 fingers that I've showed you constantly is connected to Janus. It's showing you the association of this realm. I mean, the Vatican don't have a holy ritual with doors, do they? Oh yeah, they do. In the Basilica. Now, what you're seeing there now is a holy door. And I'm going to show you a Janus coin with the temples for the gates. And I've talked this about many times, but also I've showed you many times that it's associated with a famous religious sign. It's called IYI. Some refer it to the KI tribe symbol. It means good luck, etc. But what I'm showing you is an early symbol for Christ too in Eastern Europe. That is a symbol of Janus, and a temple, the doors. There's the IYI symbol, as you can see on the screen. Look what happens when I put it into the coin of Janus's temple, Janus's door, the gates, the L11. Tell me, does it fit? Showed you this many times. Oh, look. I mean, you've even got look on the door. He's putting his hand on the scene in regard to Peter, Pater, Father, the cockerel. But look where else the sign IYI fits. Oh, wait. That must be just a pure coincidence. 3 in a cross, like 3 faces, 3 heads, personas of Janus. Just a coincidence, guys. It's all just a pure coincidence. I mean, it's not like Janus, the Pope, are all called the Father, is it? The title, the main title. No. And it came up with that in the 11th century. Again, the number. No. And yeah, Janus, okay, what the flock, Paul. But it's not like the Vatican is a key, is it? No. So you can see what the Vatican is set up for and who it is for. Remember, it's also Culsans, so the connection with the Etruscans there, prophesizing, the head, the pineal. You can see it all leads to one place. And that's just what I want to show you guys. So now I'm going to jump on some of my thoughts. Hopefully, guys, you enjoyed that.
Came out, feet first, jumped out running, quenched the thirst. Some say I'm bad, some think I'm rude. How I survived is all attitude. Yeah, I guess I'll ride right on time. I'm as ripe as the fruit on that vine. Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome to What the Flock TV. Right guys and flockers and friends and family, whatever you want to call yourself, welcome to the channel. Again, like what I say all the time is thank you for the love, the support. Breathtaking, you know, it's humbling. Again, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart the time you take to watch my videos and share it about. And for the people who buy me a coffee, again, humbling. It really is humbling when people, you know, are dipping into their own finances to help the channel, help you, and donating. It does. I get really emotional. No, Paul, stop crying. Don't get emotional. It really means a lot. So thank you for that. And if anyone wants to do that, the link is in the description. So please just go to the description and it's easy to follow. So onward to the video. Oh my god, I've got the Homeward Bound song in my head now. Remember that, the Littlest Hobo type of song? Oh my god. Things that's in your head, and I'm not whistling and I'm not singing, you will cut off. So this video, it's not a response, it's not calling people, it's not doing that. You know, it's not my style, as you know. I try and be drama free, and what I've seen is like what we're all entitled to. We're all entitled to our opinion, and I keep seeing Vatica, goddess of the underworld. They named Vatican after it. And you know, I've always said to people who's asked, it's not, and I never thought about doing a video on it, but I just keep seeing these things and I want to put my opinion across. People, it's about options, giving people options. If you want to believe Vatica is real and a goddess of the underworld for the Etruscans, brilliant. No one is saying don't, but give people the options to say, no, it's not really, to the evidence, to the information we have now. As you can see, you could type it in, the Etruscan goddess of the underworld, and you won't get Vatica. But if you type in Vatica, goddess of the underworld, you'll get a couple of sites stating that fact. It's just like how it is in the community. We get things, it's opinion based, and things go viral. And this is what's happened with this. It's gone viral stating this. Now, would I want it to be called that? Yes. Because it would make more sense, wouldn't it, if you didn't know Janus? And people say, oh no, I don't know that. Well, you know, new people to the channel all the time, you have to get this information. So when I'm talking about Vatica and showing you the different underworld gods, etc., and then we get onto the Vatican, what it's named after, how can I not show people who the really Vatican is for? To me, it's more of a slam dunk. It's so in your face. But again, this reality is not like that. It's in the face for me, but others just don't see it. They see Vatica or they see something else. And again, that is cool, because I've told you how this realm works, in my opinion, the realm of L11, where they do the two fingers like that. You see it enough in religious paintings. And obviously Baphomet, who again is Janus. It's so in your face. But again, we all see things differently, and that's the beauty of it. I keep telling you, there's nothing wrong with having a different opinion. You know, we call it free speech. There's no such thing as free speech. Even in the community. But it's how that free speech is delivered. And that's what we notice when we see people. They want to get their message across, and it's either, you know, bullyish tactics, calling you a shill and everything. What's wrong with just you being a genuine person saying, listen, Paul, I disagree. My belief is this, and here's my evidence. This is why I believe that. That's called an opinion based on what information you've had. But things are not delivered like that. And obviously this is my channel, so I try and be objective to a degree. And when we're seeing things like this, it comes through what research I reveal, bang, and it's Janus, not Vatica. But the Vatican's not named after Janus, but it's tied to Janus. I mean, you know, it's just crazy that some of the things that's getting passed through the community as being true. Please just run a reverse image search. It will save you so much time. People are making videos, content on it, and everything is getting passed, and that's what's muddying the information. Remember, I treat everything as information. There's nothing wrong with posting a picture. You make your mind, it gives you the juices flowing, and it's like, wow. But there's nothing wrong with you saying when you're doing videos or posting, this, I can't prove the origin of the photo, if it's real or not, but it's making me think. It's making me ask this question, and then posting that. But not we're getting huge accounts on Twitter, social media, posting this stuff as facts, and what's happening is their followers are then latching onto that as truth, and then when me, you, and other people are making content or posts, the spell of indoctrination for following and putting a content creator, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, or whatever the kids use these days, put on a pedestal as fact. It's fact. It's not. The truth has been weaponized, and that's why a lot of people are falling out, because the ego. How many times have I said in videos, I have an ego? Because I'm human. If you say you don't have an ego, you're lying. It's simple as that. We all have an ego. We all have an ego. We all want to be right. We all want to be, oh, look at that, Paul's got great information. We all do. You know what I mean? In some way. It's just levels of how much, it influences your personality. I don't know why people just cannot, say it. I have it, and I get some wrongs, and I also sometimes jump the gun. But you have to be big enough and say, you know what, yeah, that was out of order. It doesn't matter if there's circumstances behind it. You just say, I was out of order. Move on. We're adults. We're going to get things wrong more than we're going to get things right. But it's down to perspective. And it's like this story, his story, has a Tor in it. So when people talk about his story, and it's basically Janus on the Y, but don't forget Janus in Europe is called Janus with a Y. But nothing triggers quicker than posting about Janus. Everything's about Janus. Well, it's not my fault. I don't put the information out there. I'm just collecting it and putting it out there. So where people think I'm lying half the time. Look, I did a video on Janus, but I didn't show you the information, screenshots and links, and people saying, oh, you just made the shit up. You asked for it. There you go. It's just comical how this community works, and I've never got my head around it. But, you do have to love it and hate it at the same time. I think we all have that love-hate relationship with the community at all times. One day you're thinking, yeah, I'm glad to be in this, and then in a split second it's, oh, that's it. And then 10 minutes later, you're back in, oh, it's great, this is why we do it. So it's that love, it's that balance, it's the duality. And it's like this story of Vatica. Wouldn't it make more sense if it was called Vatica? That's where they got it from. But that's what it gets used. Now, in the long run, if more information comes out of it, and it wasn't some sites, because I can type anything on the site and post it, does not mean it's fact. Even my information. That's why I say it's up to you guys to make the informed decision using your discernment. Is it real, or is it just not enough information on it? You can't, for instance, use mainstream archaeologists, mainstream science like I have in NACE and researchers 1 minute and discredit them the next. That's why I always say use the information that we have. That's all we can do, and we can theorize. And what makes us unique is the puzzle. When we put a puzzle out, people sometimes start from the edges, some people just dive straight into the middle, some people will go for patterns. That is how we put in all his story together. We all have a different flavour and a different unique way of looking at that puzzle, and that's what's happening. We're putting these puzzles together, and when sometimes something doesn't fit, it will trigger, you know what, that does remind me of this. Oh, wow, that makes sense. Bang, that's the piece. But to someone else, that piece doesn't fit. And again, it's that process of thinking, you know what, it doesn't fit for me. You know what, I'm going to troll them. It's not. It's just information. Use it as information. Find the right piece that fits for you. And again, with this, I would love it to be true. Love it. Love it. But for me, it's that information that gets put out there to be used against us. How many people have you saw saying the Vatica? I've showed you. It was sospita. That's what they say now. Again, we can do that for anything. You can say, oh well, history is a lie. Well, don't make no content. Don't research. Where would we be? That's the point. When I say to people say, oh, you're lying, misinformation. It's just information. It's not miss. It's just information. You're making it the miss. You might not like that connection. That's reality. We all don't connect the same pieces. And you can't call science or archaeology or whatever you want to call them, the cabal, whatever, use their information and then call them in another hand, saying everything they do is all lies. Like, this is all lies, it's not this and it's this. Well, how do you come to that conclusion? Well, if you look at this, the archaeologists say, and it's like, well, you just called all them. That's what I'm saying. We can't call everything as lies. It's just information. That's why I've always stated, treat it as information, and we do not get triggered, and we just say, listen, this is the information I have provided. Books, TV, films, everything, it's all information, it's all indoctrination. It's one person or two person, whoever wrote the book, it's all indoctrination. It's whoever's controlling the supply and the book and writing. And the people writing books have an agenda. And that's why I always say, it's just information. Treat it as such, and then formulate your own thought process on what you have gathered. I've looked at this. I've showed you that Vatica doesn't exist, in a sense, from a lot of sources. It's not just like 3 sources. It's enough everything. The people associated with the Underworld are put in. Some of them had little tiny links, but the main god was Aeta, or Eta. And then obviously you had his consort, which is gone out of my head. Oh, why did I not write that down? See, this is why we do things on a fly, guys. This is why we film. See, and it's the purpose. Good. It's good to actually show you while we're doing it. You know what I mean? That's what we do. There we go. And that's why I couldn't remember it, because I couldn't say it. So it is Persephone, a bit like the Greek one, Personifer, like a phone, Personophone. That is the goddess of the underworld. Well, how could it be a Vatica? Well, it's not. That is someone's opinion. Now, I can't say, because I don't have the information, I can't say if that's an opinion based on something they've found from an ancient book or text, because people will have sometimes better sources of information. That's just life, unfortunately. Or was it done intentionally to manipulate? And we can't answer that, and that's why I don't attack people, because there's just not enough, and it's just information. And I've showed you enough in this to make you think, yeah, you know what, you're right. But still, I don't expect people to go, you know what, Paul, 100%. Some people will, because they can see the information, they have the discernment, they're open-minded. Some people are so rigid that they want to use that. I mean, the irony of it is basically the Vatican is named the Vatican because of prophecy. It's named after prophecy. The etymology was basically prophecy. I mean, you had things like, I wrote that down, you had oracle, destiny, fate, natural term of life, even death. That was wow. Divine inspiration, and obviously to foretell and to prophesize. And that's why I've put in it, so ironic, in it, that the place that condemn witches, warlocks, whatever you want to call them, pagans, and anyone that is using the divination, whether the crystals, etc., are so against using that type of things, calling it witchcraft, pagan, devil worship. Huh? Well, you're actually named prophecy, to prophesize. That's why they would have built it there on Vaticanus Hill, because they wanted to prophesize, they wanted to foretell, all about telling the future, divining. If only we had a god with multiple heads that looked into the future, looked into the past and the present, and was foretelling and linked to time and so much. Wouldn't it be so great? Oh wait, we do. You know what I mean? And that's just what makes me laugh. I see it so plainly, but I miss so much. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get blinkered. Again, it's okay to say that. I get so much wrong. But who's the judge? You will have people telling me how wrong I am. Who's the judge? You? Exactly. None of us are the judge. We all are the judges. I've told you it's the eyes. That's why they're black. The irises. Do you know what I mean? I've done so many videos, and people just think I do. Janus, I don't. You know what I mean? And I see all my research being used in big Twitter accounts. It's like, you've just took that from me. Please, give me some credit. I do the odd thing okay. It's like I've just put a video out, guys, if you've not saw it. If anyone follows me on the social medias, I've just put a short video out on Arturus, the new variety, I'll say, you know what I mean, the pandemic, and it's on my social medias, and I've just put it on the Odyssey for What the Flock TV. It's only 2 minutes, but it's just showing you that, I did an anagram of that word, and it came back like the cursed year, the cursed generation, the cursed season, and it's literally just affecting kids and pink eye health. Why I put children of the corn out there with the red eyes, are they cursing a generation? So if you want to watch a 2-minute video just showing you that, I might put it on here, I don't know, because certain things will get striked. So it's on my Odyssey on What the Flock TV. If I remember, I'll try and put it in the description, but you only have to go to Odyssey, put What the Flock TV in, and it's on there. If you want to go on Twitter, What the Flock TV, it's on there. It's on Instagram, What the Flock TV. Again, you might not be on them. You know what I mean? I have to try and get my message that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to have egos. It's okay to, be who you are. And, there's too much of things going on in the community, and people are just trying to get their own messages out, and sometimes the ego gets involved. But again, I'm putting my hand up, I have it. Wish more people did. So all that prophecy link to the Vatican and its name. You also get, pardon me, the connection with the prophecy and also Vatican wine. And again, who is the inventor of wine? Not according to me, according to all books. If all books are correct, then this is correct. See, it's all information, it's all people's opinions. So Janus, or as his another name, Noah, is basically telling you, in the inventor of wine. So there's the link. We have Janiculum Hill, named after Janus in Rome, and you would have had another hill, and did they implant the wine on there? To make the wine and also to prophesize, and hence why that came about, to build a Vatican on Peter's tomb. Remember, Peter's dad, according to sources, was called John, or Ions, which is, John and all that is all a derivative of Janus. Is John Janus? Is Peter Janus? Or have they used Janus as inspiration? Is it a case of, when your father is this, you have your father's traits, powers, etc. But why does everything connect? Why does everything show you it's Janus? And remember, Janus is just the Roman deity. He is the janitor. When you see a janitor, he has all the keys. All those keys are epitaphs, other gods. So he's got all the gods on his belt, and he's only got to change the key, open the door, and reveal another persona, another mask of Janus. The oldest name, as I've showed you in images, is Ia. Reverse that is Ia, AI, and AI in Greek is number 11, the realm of 11. Well, that's why they do that. Remember when he was doing all that things and they're talking about that, it's apostrophe and all that, but could it just be the realm of 11? Surely that. That's why there's so many connections to it. It just makes you think. So we have Christianity based on Peter, the cock crow 3 times. Why didn't he say the cock crows twice? Why didn't the cock crow 4 times? Why did the cock crow not crow 5 times? Why couldn't it say when the cock crows a few times or several times? Why did it was specifically that number? Because don't forget, Janus at the time, there's a transition from the Great Vow to L shift, where before that he had 3 heads, and you see you still see a lot of 3 heads in the Trinity, but they were trying to get to the 2 heads because he has different versions. Remember, the 2 head is Janus, Bifrons, and then obviously you have the Trinity, the 3 heads, and then you have Quadrifrons, the 4 faces. Older you go, more heads he seems to have. So you get to that period where you're having that overlap of 3 and 2 heads, and it's intriguing that the cock crow 3 times is that for each head, each persona, each mask, past, present, and the future. It's just there for you thinking. And again, why is the Pope called Pater, Father, the Father of all? Father. Peter is basically Pater, Father. It's a Greek, and it's also Latin for father. And all these connections with the cockerel being known as the father of the morning, the god of the morning. Well, that's when the cock crows. That's when you have the morning light. That's why he's also associated with Lucifer, the morning star, because they're all epithets of Janus. They're all his personas. And yes, it might get boring to a few, but to me it's why. I've been researching this a long time, as you guys know, and the information that I had at the beginning to what now is, it's like it's been manifesting. You might say, well, that's because you're researching it and other people are researching the information. Exactly. But that's like that question, if everything is a lie, why don't we just sit on our hands and do nothing? That's the irony. People just don't want you to give your opinion on things. And yeah, we can sit on our hands, but what are you going to do with your research or anything? You have to do something. You can't just sit on your hands or say food, we don't need food because in ancient times, in way back, we didn't use food, so I'm sitting on my hands, it's all a lie, we'll die. Or we don't need water, in history we didn't use, so we'll sit in your hands, die. You can't just sit in your hands and just blah 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 blah, everything go away. That's why I say to people, why are you praying? Why you keep going on about the end of the days? If this realm, in one sense, guys, it's all about manifestation, Paul, your manifestation, Janus. Who says Janus is bad? You have. I've not. Everyone is good and bad. And, gods are no different, or the interpretation of gods are no different. Hence all the weird and sick variations in the Bible. And then people will say, oh, well, that's not my God, that's the person writing it. And the next minute they say, no, the Bible is 100% truth and fact. Make your mind up. Oh, Paul Snowflake, he said the Bible. See what I mean? You're in a no-win situation. You can't use one to back you up and then in a sense call them in the next. Just treat it as information to research, because we all had this information. It's all in the atmospheric memory. It's out all around us, and we download it and re-download it, and we've had our memories wiped. And that's why we call it researching, because we're re-looking into information that we already know. So when I'm showing you this, that Vatica is not named after the Vatican in the sense of the etymology, prophesizing to foretell. Foretell, 4 heads. The oldest image of Janus in Rome had 4 heads, and it's on the oldest bridge. That's just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. You know, and Noah, Janus, the first shipbuilder, and the island of the gods, as I've titled it, in the Tiber River, is built and was built to look like a ship. It's just great information. And it makes us think, and it makes us want to know and look into other things. So that's why I do these videos. I'm just showing you what I found. If you don't like what I found, go and research it yourself. You will find different, because we research differently. But all the connections are there that I'm showing you. You know what I mean? And that's what gets me going, wow, wow, wow. And for them people out there who hate me going, wow, wow. The people out there who hate me saying stay safe, stay safe. I just don't get people. I say what I say, you say what you say. Move on with yourself. So we have all that, but still, like we're saying, not to prophesy, to foretell. And that's what basically the etymology of the Vatican was. And they've waged wars on, you know, the divination, which is warlocks, pagan, anyone. Remember, pagan, if you look at pagan properly and not take mainstream, because like I said, this is information is out there. Pagan is basically someone who lives off grid. So if any of you are watching this who believe in the church, etc., but live off grid, you're a pagan. If any of you don't believe what the church's message is, you're a pagan, because you have to follow it 100%. So if you follow the people who's doing all these grievously things to kids and how they're trying to promote this, and this, but still, you know, you believe in God, you're a pagan. That's what basically, and that's basically putting it so basic. So if you lived off grid, if you lived in the woods, in the countryside, didn't follow the major religions at the time, the slur was you was a pagan. Now, I'm not saying there's bad pagans, no, because there's good and bad in everyone. You know, and 99% of the people watching this video will be pagan. If you go off that, what I've said, you lived out in the sticks, or you didn't follow what the church said, its message, 100%, you're pagan. If that offends you, tough. It's just my opinion on the information I found. It's all about that. It's not about calling people. It's all information. That's why people get triggered. The people will be triggered because I'm saying Vatica does not exist. Well, it's on a website. Well, so's the information I found. Oh, it's only on a website. It's only in books. Yeah, but it's only in books. I've been accused of just using the internet and books. It's all the same. That's the point. People just don't want you to get your message out. You know what I mean? And that is what's wrong with the community. You don't have to. And if anyone's followed me for the longest time will know, I don't do well to be told what to do. I never have. You've got to have the red or the blue pill. No, I don't. I'll not take any. Is there a third, fourth option? Can I not kick the door down instead of going around it, or dig underground? Why have we in the community have to accept you? If you watch that channel, you can't watch this channel. I'm not being told. You know, I watch the information that people's putting out. I'm not here to marry them. I'm not here to be best buds. I'm BFF, friends. There's some people I am friendly with. I'm friends and close friends. But you get that through time. You get that through trust. You know what I mean? And this is just what's going so wrong at the minute. Let's just get back to what we're here for. We're here supposedly to fight them. And we're fighting each other constantly. We don't need gatekeepers because we're doing it for ourselves. So this is why I wanted to do this video. I wanted to show, for instance, look at the KI tribe in Turkey, and then obviously in Belgium, is that IYI symbol. It is a symbol used for good luck, and also it's different religions, but in one religion it's used as one of the earliest symbols for Christ. What do people who believe in Christ call themselves? Christians. Christ, Eons. What is Janus's other name? Enos, Ionos. You're basically calling yourself Christ Janus, followers of Janus. Again, you might have watched the odd video and seen other people call Janus devil worshipper, blah 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 blah. Who said he is? I've not. I've showed you they're following him. It's all about the intent. You have a wand. You wield your wand. Now your wand can be of a sword, or it could be for good. Spells. You can say something lovely and beautiful to someone, or you can cut them down and curse them. You're using a mouse, a cursor. Your computer is just one big Ouija board. You're moving the cursor around. You're telling people. That's one thing I've just not got in my head. If you are a truther, you are looking for the truth. You are fighting the cabal. You know words are spells. Yet you will get your candy ass onto a Ouija board, which is a computer, your phone, and you will put a curse on someone. You are a knobhead. You are a troll. You are disinformation. Blah, blah, blah. All these nasty things. That is a curse. You are putting a curse on someone. So if you are a truther, why, if you know all this, are you doing the work from? You are cursing each other. If you do not like something, scroll past the good old days. But don't curse anyone. You're cursing. It's cursing. You're putting a negative spell. And it doesn't matter, well, it's negative, doesn't affect me. It does. It affects me. It affects everyone. Be honest. When you see something evil or something negative, it affects you. It seeps into you. And if you're Taurus, your field is not strong. All it is meaning is if your Taurus field is strong and you're able to bounce back quicker by not letting it affect you as much, that's just through practice. You're putting a shield to protect you. But we're human beings. We're sound. We're frequency. Negative spells have an effect. We're a water. We're a medium. We're a crystal. It affects us. And again, for anyone who's watching this who doesn't like me saying that, shame on you. Don't call yourself a truther. Don't call yourself, you're trying to help the community, and you're this and this and this. You're cursing people if you're trolling and you're putting negative comments. Don't leave anything. That's my 10 cents worth, and this is getting into this. Vatica, with a C or a K, is not the goddess of the underworld to the Etruscans. You saw the main ones. It was Aeta and Personife was his consort and queen. And then you had other little gods associated. You had Kulu, you had Kulsans, didn't like anyone. They were the gods of the underworld in regard to the doors. Doors? It's not like the Vatican has one of the holiest rituals on a door and it only gets opened every 20 whatever years. St. Peter's door. Oh, Peter again. Doors. Oh, well, that could be the heavenly gates. Yeah, no. The gates that they're called hell and heaven. And if you take the H off, why do we call it hell and heaven? Because it's heaven. St. Peter, Father. Why is Janus called Father? Why is he the God of gods? Why are you saying he's the God of gods? I'm not saying he's the God of gods. I'm saying they are saying he's God of gods. The information that I found says that. That's the difference. People think you are 100% on, you're believing in this. I'm just showing you the information I found. I make the connections. And it's just showing you. It's crazy. So you have the IYI, an old symbol for Christian and Christianity. And it also is a symbol for other things. That's what people will say. Oh, well, he's saying that, but it really is this. Yeah, it is. Because people have a different interpretation throughout his story of symbols. You will have a book of symbols here. Each symbol will have a different meaning and a different aspect to people through the generations. Through the generations. See? Different symbols have different meanings. Who is the right one? Who is the wrong one? Or is it just people's interpretation of what they believe in at the time? And this is my interpretation. So you have a symbol linked to Christ, who is Eons. Eon is another derivative of Janus, but also Eanos. You have the Vatican. You have the Pope, the Father, fisherman, sailing, shipbuilding. How many more connections do you need, to be shown that, I'm onto something? But again, it's something from my interpretation. And that's what I love doing. I love making my own interpretations up. And the Vatican and the etymology that I've shown you through, the old app that I had on my phone, to me it's more wow. Because it's talking about prophecy, it's talking about even death, doom. And if this world is frequency-based, vibrational, and whatever a physical door is, or a portal, or a bridge between realms, between frequencies to, whatever realm, universes, you need that doorway, that passageway. That's why the Vatican is built like a door, built like a key, has rituals for doors, has at heart a god of doorways and portals and so much more as the first. The Vatican is known as the Eternal City. On one of my older videos I showed you that another city is called Eternal City, is Kyoto, and they have the keyhole burial mounds, and all around the world there is that. And some scrupulous people were using my full videos as theirs, which is, I see it as thank you, but just please just ask, or say, I got this from here and like that. But you know what I mean? Like I said, we all get excited by certain stuff, and we should just share each other's work. You know what I mean? It's just information based, just, and be courteous to one another. So you can see all the connection with doorways, portals, and then the pineal. Well, people will say, oh, they're such and such and such, and then if you say, well, that same person says the pineal's occult name is Janus. Pineal is always tied to the pinecone. Okay, pinecone straight away right outside in St. Peter's Basilica, and peacocks, obviously they're associated to foretelling amongst many other things. And it's a pineal, it's a gateway, and it is where it is, and that's also called Janus or Ionos. And in Rome you have the Pinecone district, Pigna Rota Rata, I can't remember the pronunciation, Riata I think, and that's the Pinecone district. It's where the what's it called now? Oh my god, the Parthenon. Is it the Parthenon? And originally that was copper and it looked like a pinecone, but the wording for the pinecone, well, where it has a little hole in the top and it shines down, that's called an oculus, all tied to eyes. And oculus is also means the owl, the world belongs to us, from my old videos. And most countries in the world did at the time have an oculus looking down, linked to the pine cone. And obviously whatever you believe the pineal gland is and does, it's tied to Janus. I was so much information that you can show people, and this is why I just wanted to make this video. It wasn't to say, oh, those people are wrong, because there's no right or no wrong. It's just opinions, it's perspective, it's your perception. People will even argue over the fact that I've said everything is perspective and perception. It is. For me, you might not see that, but when you put an image on the floor, it's the oldest image you can show you. To me, it's a 6. To you, it's a 9. And there's various other things that you can use that get changed. All I mean is, if, for instance, if you look at something like this, or like that, oh look, he's putting his hand over his eye, oh! Dear fucking God. You know what I mean? So it's how you look, and I don't have a telescope handy, but when you're looking at something with a telescope, your vision is tunneled. You can only see where you're pointing, where your aim is at. But imagine the more information, the more light that you can get in, the picture becomes crisper, the image becomes enlarged, and that's why everyone talks about knowledge, information is light. The more information, the more light. And I've talked about it for so long. So when we look at things with tunnel vision or binoculars, yes, you can see far and you can see into it, but you can't see, you know. And people say, well, you can turn it around, but what if you can't turn? Because there is some binoculars that are attached. You know what I mean? So there's ways and means of getting around it. So that's how we look at information. And the information I found in this all connects to, obviously, Janus, Peter, and the Janus connection, the Christ Anos, Christians. Why is it called, why are they saying that? Because it's their opinion. Or could it be, like I've said before, they want to disinformation. They want to put wrong information in. But then again, who's the one? You know, they might have an ancient scroll at hand, or, you know, have, you know, at their fingertips more information. But the information that I've showed you that the image that they're using isn't Vatica. But then again, could it be Vamp? And that was the wings on the mask. Who knows? But I know my opinion and what I've shown to me isn't fact. It's just my opinion of the information and interpretation. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, guys, because I love making these types of videos, just showing you a different perspective. I need your help, guys. I need to grow the channel. We've been stuck so long. We've been YouTubed, where everyone else seems to be, you know, going out the sky. We us flockers, we have to be in there. We have to be, you know, we're all in this together. So I need your help, guys. I need you to like, share, and subscribe. It tells me you like the video. I do like opinions and comments. But again, like reality, keep it, you know, respectful. Even me get things wrong. I've read things in the last couple of weeks because I'm dyslexic and I do find it hard, and I read it wrong, and I went, you know, I wasn't thinking go. I never go for anyone, but you know what I mean. I was a bit blunt, and then someone alerted me to the fact that, you know what, did you read that right? And I got it wrong. It doesn't matter if I'm dyslexic. I got it wrong. Put your hand up. You got things wrong. I'll get things wrong, and we'll all be blunt. We'll all have bad days. But it's all right to say I've had a bad day, you know. As if people don't let you move on. We all have bad days, guys. This is what it's like being in a pond full of turds in a river. Some days we're just treading, and you'll get a taste of a turd. I like to use that analogy because I think it's accurate. And we just need more and more people to show, you know, swim in a different river, find a different river. And that's what I want to show on this video. People are saying the Vatica is the goddess of the underworld for the Etruscans. I've showed you it's not, from what I can find. But it's all about an opinion. I've showed you the etymology where Vatican came from. But basically prophecy, prophesize. And the irony of them waging war on people who divine, the divination, it's not lost on me. And then all the connections that the Vatican basically is. I didn't want to go too overboard because I've made many videos on it, basically showing you why it's a door, why it's a key, why St. Peter is Janus or associated with Janus, or was his son, who knows. But it's bloody good looking into stuff like this and looking at something differently, because you don't want to see it all the same. And that's why for people that's followed me for a while, it still feels like a fresh video, because we forget a lot. And I'm showing you different connections, and I didn't put a lot in. There's more I could have put in, but I just want to keep it to the point. Was going slightly away from, you know, why I made the video. Just to show you that possibly Vatica isn't a Etruscan deity, isn't why the Vatican was named. But it's all about opinion. It's all about opinion. It's all about your perspective. So guys, please like, share and subscribe. Please donate if you can. If you can't, just share the video. Please remember to check out the Odyssey of What the Flock TV for that short video. And I'll see you in the premiere. I'm going to premiere this because I've really enjoyed this one, and I'm going to premiere it. So remember, stay safe. That's for you people who don't like it. Remember, always wear a smile, have a laugh, some humour, trying it. Life's hard, And you know what? Don't let the bar stools grind us down. So we'll see you in the chat. Bye, guys. Bye.